Now, when it comes to YouTube videos that teach AI, this Jake Van Clief video is the most valuable video on YouTube, hands down. And there isn't even a close second. The information in this video has completely changed my experience with AI. I've been vibe coding almost every day for about 8 months. And although I was able to build some really cool apps, I still was dealing with a lot of frustration with my AI. By not quitting, I was able to accomplish a lot, but I did it through many days of mistakes, days of lost work, crazy amounts of anger, and I always felt like it can't be this way. There has to be a better way. And I'm so happy that I was right and that I finally found Jake's YouTube channel. And Jake talks about the reason that everybody isn't talking about this file and folder system is because you can't sell files and folders. But I'm here to tell you, as somebody who's obsessed with AI, somebody who has gone to every AI YouTube channel, joined about 20 paid school groups, only to find they didn't know any more than I did. If you want to truly learn AI, you should watch this video on repeat until you understand everything. This video is worth thousands, and Jake just casually gives it away to the world for free. And I think that's the reason so many people overlook it. If you feel like you're falling behind in learning AI, this system fixes that. If you feel like you don't know which LLM to use or which app to use, this system fixes that. If you feel like AI is too expensive and you want to find a hack to save money, this system fixes that. And I promise you, by the end of this video, you're going to understand why. I'm speaking from experience, y'all. I can show you better than I can tell you. Let's go in. Okay, we're going to start off with an experiment. Now, the reason I want to do this is because when I was, I struggle to learn sometimes. I can be very slow. And I had like a dumbed down version. I think I'm at about 20% of understanding Jake's system. But as I was learning it, I tried this experiment. I said, if I can getting this correctly, this experiment should work as intended, right? So when I did it and it worked, I said, I think I'm on the right track now. So I wanted to do this for you guys. It may seem a little complicated at first, but if you can do this, it's going to put your confidence level way up when you start watching Jake's video. It's going to make you say, I get it now. And it's going to help you understand what he's saying a little bit better, I think, and it should. So I'm not going to do too much explaining. I'm just going to show you how the experiment works and how to do it. When an agent wakes up, they read the agents.md file. Unless it's Claude code, it reads the Claude.md. Since I use all these different LLMs all the time, every time I have a Claude.md file that it wakes up and reads, it's going to say just read the agents.md in the same project folder. Every Claude.md file I has says the same thing. Because I use too many LLMs, I do not think that you should stick to one. I'm going to close this, and now you know that Claude is just redirecting to that agents.md. So the agent wakes up, and it's going to read the agents.md. And the first thing it's going to read, it's going to be very simple. It's just going to tell it to go somewhere else. Go to the control folder and read the agents.md in that folder and follow instructions. Okay? And where's that folder? Right here, the control folder. So I just told it, go to this folder and read this agents.md file. And that's exactly what it should do. It's going to follow, it knows the location. And when I open this agents.md file, now we're going to get to some instructions. It says you're going to write the first word in the power.md file. But where's that file? Oh, that file's back in the beginning. Now, I'm doing this on purpose because I want you to see what your agent can do with instruction. It's now going to say, this is a file that I want you to write something in. But I'm not going to tell it what it needs to write directly. I'm going to make it use another tool, a skill file. So when it reads this, it's going to say, I need you to write the first word in this file right here, but you're going to get that information from this other file here. And that is the skills folder and the skill file. And this file says, when asked for the first word, it's control. You want the second word, it's your. The third word is agent. So in order to get the information of what it needs to type, it has to go to another location and grab the skill file. Okay, I hope I'm not losing you yet. And the skill file is right here. Then the skill file is going to tell it what to type. The first word is in the file. After that, you're now going to go to the next agent.md in the next folder. And that's going to be the your folder. It's going to be the same thing. It's going to open it up. It's going to say, now you're going to write the second word. You're going to write it back in the power.md folder right here. Your information of what you're going to write is in this folder, in this file right here. Okay, and this is the same concept. It says when you're done doing that, you're then going to go to the agent folder. And it's going to say the same thing. Write the third word. The third word you're going to write in here, and you're going to get the information from here. All right, same thing. And when it's done, you're just going to say, done, boss. These are the instructions. So let's go over that one more time. It's going to get the first agents.md file, or Claude if it gets Claude, but it's going to go here. It's going to follow the instructions. It's going to say, come to this second file. So this is the second file it's going to read, just so it don't get confused. And it's going to come over and snatch up the skill file to get the information. Once it has the information, it's going to come back over here to the PowerMD file and write the information. So we're sending it on a hunt. When you're done that, you're going to go to the second word, which is which is another folder. Same instructions. It's going to come to the skill file, find what word it needs to write, then it's going to write it in this MD file over here. And when it's done, it's going to go to the last one that says agent. Same thing. Go to find the information, the third word is agent, and you're going to write it in this file. And when you're done, just say done, boss. Now, if this works, this file right here, when I open it up, should say control your agent. Now, let's see what happens. So let's open up Claude and do Claude first. In Claude, I could, like I've showed before, you can open up the folder here. But guess what? This is what makes this system so good. It doesn't really matter what folder you start in, because the files guide it anyway. And that's one of the amazing things about this system. It doesn't matter where you go. As long as it reads that right file you want it to read, it fixes everything. So I'm going to right click this Claude MD and I'm going to get the path. Copy is path. That means the exact location on the computer, it's copied. And then I'm going to come and I'm going to paste it right in here. And I'm just going to paste that file. Now, I'm not going to say nothing. I'm going to see if it'll just read it and follow instructions, okay? So that's the location of the Claude MD. And remember, the Claude MD is pointing to the agents.md. We're just going to point it to the right file. And hopefully it reads it, and hopefully it follows instructions. Let's find out. Now, remember what it's doing. This is the flow right here. One file, read, next file. So it says reading skill MD. Okay, so it already went past reading PowerMD. Editing PowerMD. Wrote control to PowerMD. Now following the next instructions. The second word is yours, appending to PowerMD. The third word is agent, appending and finishing. Done, boss. Now what's going to happen when we open this PowerMD file? Boom, control your agent. Now, I don't know if you think that was amazing or not, but if you can accomplish this, what you just saw, it's amazing, because this is a very simple version of what you can actually do if you write very intricate prompts. It shows you that in your file and folder system, you have full control over your agent. You could have systems that you can follow and you never have to tell it. You just write things one time and it's just prompts. It's just a bunch of prompts and a bunch of files and a bunch of folders telling it where to go, what to do, and how to do it. This is not what Jake teaches. Jake teaches stuff way more intricate. This is a dumbed down version. And I realized that if I want to succeed in this file and folder system, I got to remember that the agent should always know the map, where, the mission, and the support. If it has all three answers, you're going to have a system where your AI is never lost. It always knows what to do. It always knows where to go. All right, so now we're going to try Codex. All right, we're going to go to agents.md, and here we go again. All right, so PowerMD has nothing in it again. Here we go with Codex. All right, it has the instructions. I didn't say anything. I said nothing to my agent. Think about this. The third word is agent. I'll verify the file contents. Just think about what's happening here. It is accomplishing a goal without you having to tell it the goal. Imagine what you have in your life, in your projects and things you're doing with all these repetitive tasks. You never have to tell your AI how to perform a repetitive task. What if your AI knew everything you wanted to do, everything about how and when? Done, boss. Now let's find out. What do you think we're going to see? Control your agent. Now he did it above each other. We didn't give instructions on how, which is fine because we never instructed it to do anything specific anyway. If you figure out how to do what we just did here, you are going to be a beast. You're going to be an AI professional because you understand that you have power over controlling your agent, what it does. This is going to really open your mind as you start to go into Jake's system. You're like, oh, he's saying you can control the whole thing. And then he's going to show you just how much you can do. He had one crazy thing he said. It's like, if you know how to do files and folders, you don't need an app. You know how many apps I made that I'm realizing if you just get an agent to follow instructions, you can accomplish the same thing as an app that takes you a month to build. This folder system can take you 20 minutes to build because an AI agent can do it all for you. You tell an AI agent, I want a system that does this, and it'll write everything in. You don't even have to figure this out. But I just wanted to show you that if you did this experiment, you are already ahead of the game. No more being behind on AI. If you did this, congratulations, you are on the frontier. Now let's get into the rest. So one of the big problems with the Jake video is that he says very substantial things very quickly. Like if you don't pay attention, you might think something he's saying is just like normal words. So watch what he's going to say here about how you should use agents, right? And then we'll get into it.
You see, most apps or frameworks or agentic things require you to build an agent for each of these. I need a writing room agent. I need this agent. I need this agent. But the way in which you approach each task is always different. Why not just have Claude Code become the agent you need when you're working in the workspace?
I see that's a mic drop moment, and some people don't even realize it. What this man just said is incredible, and it makes all the sense in the world, right? So what you got to understand is, what is an agent, right? A lot of people, they feel like agent is a confusing thing, right? But in reality, you've been using agents since the beginning with ChatGPT. It's an agent, right? You remember GPTs? That's all an agent. If you ever been to a website and you had a chat window, let's say that was a tax website, and you could learn about taxes in this chat window, that's an agent. It has instructions, it has tools, and it learned how to do a specific task. It's an agent. That's all it is. It's not complicated at all. You've been using agents since the very first day. You just got confused about what it meant, right? If you go to ChatGPT and you ever made a GPT, look on the back end. It's just a prompt, right? That's all it is. That's all it ever was. And that's all it ever will be. It's prompts. And in this prompt, it's going to know what to do. And now here I can upload files. It can have extra tools, extra context, extra information to let it do its job. And that's all an agent is. If I just say, yo, it's going to respond based off that instruction. Hey, send me your list of t-shirt phrases. I didn't say anything about that because it's an agent. That's what the agent is built to do. Now, let me show you something interesting where I'm going to do an agents.md file. And now what I'm going to put in here is the same prompt that I just had in the GPT. All right, I'm going to save it. Now that agents.md is now in this folder on the desktop. All right, so now we're going to wake up in the same folder and we're just going to say good morning. That's it. Good morning. And let's see what it says. Boom, here we go. Paste the list of t-shirt phrases and I'll have the non-phraseism, blah, 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 Amazon page 3 links. See, once you get it to read it, it is doing the exact same task as that GPT who is hard-coded to do that task. And this is what Jake's talking about. It can become the agent just by reading the same instructions. And that's what he's saying. Why not let Claude become the agent? It's not technically the exact same thing, but when it comes to what it's doing and how it's doing it, it is the exact same thing. So by having files and folders with those prompts, you essentially have an agent, right? And this, you can do things like this. Once you start looking under the hood, you start to notice a lot of things about these files and folder system. Here's an example. You remember OpenClaw? AGENTS.md. This is OpenClaw fresh install before we even use it. And when you look at what OpenClaw has in its files and folders, remember OpenClaw, they say you talk through Telegram. They never wanted you to look down here. They only tell you about that upper layer, the layer where it is cool AI. You don't need to know what's happening under the hood. Just tell it what you want. It'll do whatever. But when you look under the hood, you start to see how it works. And this is when you say, wait a minute, what if I can do this? You know what I mean? Like that's the part that gets crazy. It's like, do I have the power to make my own agent? And let's look under here. Look what we find. Agents.md. I didn't put that there. OpenClaw put that there. This is the person who made OpenClaw decided this is how it's going to be. And look what it is. Instructions. This folder is your home. Treat it that way. I didn't bootstrap yet, meaning I didn't talk to it yet. So this is a fresh install, but it's telling it. Agents.md, SoMD, it's giving it the file names. Right? Do not manually reread started files unless these are all instructions on how the agent needs to behave. Right? Let me make it big so you can see it. These are all instructions on what the agent should do. Write it down. No mental notes. You want a little cheat code on what you should do with your agents? Copy this. Not exactly because you want to do it for you, but look how this works. It's just, this is what the professionals who made this thing, NVIDIA called this what? The most important invention in the history of the world? Slightly overstated, but still, look what they're talking about. This is what they're talking about. You feel like you're behind on AI, but if you could figure this out, think about it. They just said this is the most important, significant thing in the world. And here you are understanding it because you're reading the files. It's telling it to stay silent when. All this information. React when. Do this if that. It's telling the agent what to do in what situation, why it matters. Don't overdo it. Tools. Here's the tools you're going to use, right? Remember what it needs, where it needs to go, what it needs to use. Here's the tools. Only use it if you need to do this. Only do this if you need to do that. Very specific instructions so that the AI is never lost. And it's doing the exact same thing Jake is talking about. When you look at Jake's files, this is the same thing. It's just talking to the AI, saying this is what you're going to do. And then you come to the other files, SoulMD, Bootstrap, Heartbeat, Tools. It's not filled out yet, but this is where the AI is going to fill this out to know about you as the user. And what is this? Just a bunch of files and folders. This is the evidence you need that if you can do this, if you go and install OpenClaw and say, let me just read what OpenClaw does. And you're like, wait a minute, I can do this. This is not that complicated at all when you really start reading all the ones that even, the best AIs in the world are using. This is an agent. That's all it is. So Jake is saying, if it's just files and folders, and welcome, this right here is my actual personal system right here. These are my personal files and folders, y'all. And what am I using? Files and folders, AGENTS.md. So what he's saying is, why not have Claude become the agent? So this is my main area. And then when I go into other area, like my brain dump section, there's another AGENTS.md. And there's more instructions for what to do in this folder. So whenever I tell Claude to read this file, it now becomes that agent. And you can put these files all over the place in your organizational workflow of files and folders. There's no rules. What Jake is talking about is that this is a concept. What he's showing us is an example. He wants you to understand the concept, not the example. And what he's going to tell us is that once you get it, you make your own. And this is exactly what I did. And I'm going to go over what I did, how it works, how you can do it too, because it's not as complicated as you might think it is. So we're going to go over this and show you just how amazing some of this stuff is. Now let's get into the next thing he says. All right, here we go.
Layer 1 in this is the map. This is what loads automatically, right? It's looking at it. So you put the stuff the agent always needs to think about: folder structure, naming conventions, where files go. Think of this as the floor plan. You walk into any room, the floor plan is on the wall, and the agent knows where to go.
Boom. So let's unpack that. See, to me, that was another very significant thing he just said, the map. And this is one of the big secrets about the system, is an AI that's never lost. It always knows where to go. Always. That is the first step. And this I took to heart. He said the map. It's like when you walk into a building in the lobby, what's the first thing that happens? You got the receptionist, and then you got a map. It says, here's where you go. Every floor, it tells you what's on the floor. So you can just look at the map and say, oh, I know where to go. And that's what this system, one of the big things that it does, right? And when I open my AGENTS.md, you're going to see a map. So think of this. Think of every folder as another floor, right? And every time you go to a floor, you might go to the third floor. And in some buildings, when you get out of the elevator, what do you see? Another map, another directory. Now, the directory that was on the second floor is not the same directory that was in the lobby. When you went to the lobby, it told you all the stuff that's on the second floor, right? The category. Once you got to the second floor, it gave you the names of the people and what offices there are. So think of that. This is the exact way to think about this. This is a building of your life. You have your personal stuff, work stuff, education, family. It all goes here. And every part of your life is a different floor. Your career, your print-on-demand business. Every folder is another department. This is the cool way to think about it. And then sub-departments. So when you walk into your building, this main area, this is my lobby. All right. This is the lobby. And I know I want my agent to always wake up in the lobby. Let's see what that looks like. All right. I'm going to open this AGENTS.md and I'm going to show you. The first thing you read is iScale Labs operating law, prime mission. You need to know what we're doing and then start here. And I took the map stuff to heart. So let me show you what I'm able to do. And then I'm going to get more into why I'm able to do it. And this is something that took me a while to come up with, but it all comes from Jake Van Clief's ideas and his video, right? So I'm going to wake up here, iScale Labs folder. All right. So this is the lobby that I just showed you. And this is where it's waking up right now. And this is what it's going to use. It's this main area. and it's going to use this AGENTS.md because when they wake up, they automatically read AGENTS.md. If you have Claude.md, it's the same thing. But that's why for my Claude.md, I always say read AGENTS.md. So that way, because I like to use a lot of LLMs. So when Claude wakes up, it reads Claude.md, and it's just going to tell it, hey, go read AGENTS.md because that's where the information is. This is how I handle dealing with different agents. And then when I go to my AGENTS.md, that's my whole thing that Claude is going to now read too. So even Claude understands that AGENTS.md is where everything is. So let's go to see what Claude says. Yo, I'm here. What we getting into today? And I'm going to say, I think I want to work on iScale Merch, the niche research app that I'm making, right? So I'm just going to say that. Now, how is he going to know what to do? I just told him something. This folder is not an iScale Merch folder, but he's going to go to, and he's going to know exactly what I'm talking about. And I'm going to show you how cool that is. I didn't have to actually go to the folder, which is the right way to do it normally. But if you work a system out, then you kind of don't have to. I'll route this as an iScale Lab workspace since iScale Merch is a project app name and we want the right home before touching anything. I'll do a light lookup, not a whole workspace wander. And now it's reading through my files and finding out. Looks right away. It looks like the route is this. It found the folder. It didn't have to spend an hour searching through stuff. It found my folder. It knows what I'm talking about. And it's about to say, let's start working in that folder. You know what doesn't happen? It doesn't say, I don't know what you're talking about. I never hear that anymore. When I used to work with AI, I hated every time. It's like, I don't know what you're saying. And I'm like, but we were just doing this. In this files folder system, it's never lost, y'all. I cannot tell you the last time I had an AI, when I've been using this, say, I don't know what you're talking about. Now, it takes some time. You say, yup, I found it. Here's the current shape. Here's the runtime. Here's the GitHub. And it's giving me all the information. It has uncommitted work. This is the version you're on, and it's going to give me more information about what to do next. I can pick it up from there and give you a type where we are next move. Look at this. All I did was say, I want to work there. And now it knows everything about it. I says, I changed my mind. I'd rather find out what's on our to-do list. Now what am I doing? I'm throwing another curveball at it. It's like, yo, it just found out everything about this iScale Merch app. It figured it all out. I never had to say anything else. I just said I want to work on iScale Merch, and now I'm switching it. I'm completely switching it on him. He went through all of that, and I'm like, you know what? Forget this. What's on our to-do list? He says, got it. Switching from iScale Merch to the org task surface. How does he know how to do that? It knows what to do. The registry is pretty broad, so I'm going to read only the active task, file it, list, and extract the unchecked task blocks. That keeps it as a task report, not a surprise audit. He's following instructions, right? He's not figuring this out on its own. He's reading and responding to everything he's reading in different files, and it knows exactly what to do. I found the live unchecked items. I'm doing one quick count pass so the summary has numbers instead of hand waving a bunch. This is not on accident. This is 100% calculated. This is 100% the system we built. Check 44 active task queues, and it's showing me everything. Needs approval, credential rotation, Chrome Web Store upload task, CLI pop-up task. Boom. It knows my task, just like that. I'm like, never mind, forget tasks. What automations are set up in our org right now? Wait a minute, it's going all over the place. I have an agent that does this, that can just go anywhere, figure anything out. Anything I say to this agent, it will never, ever be lost. And it's reading a ledger. So now, just by me saying what's our automations, it did some looking around, and it's gonna now give me my automations. And the only tokens it's spending was on the path it had to do to follow the map that I gave it. And it's telling me everything that it's telling me, I already know where it's reading and why it's reading there because I told it to. But I didn't do it now. I did it through the series of prompts in these files. They were just prompts. And the prompts were already there. I never have to prompt it again. And boom, daily backup report, daily GitHub backup, Slack, Dropbox file intake, fleet backup status refresh. There's my automations. And all I had to do was ask it. I didn't have to tell it where to go. I didn't have to say, do you remember? Where are my automations? It found that information and gave it to me. So I'm going to say, hey, I'm showing off our routing system on YouTube right now. What else can you do with our router system that a normal agent cannot? Let's see what it tells us. It knows in this org how important the system is. So it says a normal agent can't search files and guess. Our router system can operate the org without losing intent. What it do that's special? Route vague prompts to the right home. Know the difference between org truth and runner state. Use gates before risky actions. Avoid workspace-wide wandering. Preserve every input. Separate tasks, automation, memory, apps, and docs. Detect drift. Do pickup and handoff like an operating system. Y'all, this is phenomenal stuff. And I learned all of this from that one video. So I have the law. So the minute it reads that agents.md file, before it goes too deep, Jake talks about you don't want an agent reading information for no reason. You got to give it a purpose. So the minute it comes here, it reads the first thing and it says start here, and it lets it know what to do if that. Remember what OpenClaw said? If you got to do this, you do that. If you got to do that, you do this. And it says important. If the prompt involves routing, blah, 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 or clear ownership, follow the matching gate before acting. If you need prompt routing, go to this, Router.md. If you need to know how much to read, go to this file. There's a number. Skip to that number. You don't have to read everything all the time. If you're looking for tasks, then come here to this place. If you want to talk about memory and you need to figure out how memory works, here's where that information is in the same document. ISCA 2, secrets law, and I got everything that it needs to know. The runtime path law, storage, how to deal with storage, the secrets, which is my credentials, my logins and passwords. What if you need a password? It knows where to go. Everything is told to it, and it has these routers. And it says if you're lost and need to know what to do, prompt routing, then you go to this file. So let's check out that file, Router.md. I've decided to put the map in its own file. So now when I open up Router.md, look what we have. Everything in my whole organization is right here. But remember what I told you about the lobby versus the second floor? When you go to the lobby, it's not going to tell you every office. It's just going to say, here's the category. And then once you get to that floor, then you got the details. So right here, it tells it everything. No matter what you want to do, you will find the answer of where to go in what folder right here on this router, aka the map. What Jake talks about, give it a map. Tell your AI everything it needs to know. Why does it need to be lost? You can't rely on Claude code or Codex memory to do this for you. It never will, ever, ever, ever. You rely on AI that's given to us by companies, you're never going to get the agent you want. If you learn files and folder system, you get the agent you want. Here's the thing. This is not an AI thing. This is a human that can read this. Let's say it was 10 years ago and you had a business you wanted someone to come in and help you run. Doesn't this work for a human? This is a human thing. This is not AI. This is routing anybody who reads it. So imagine it's perfect for AI. But you're really not learning AI things. You're learning how to route anything that reads it. There's no secrets. And this is the big thing that keeps your agent from never getting lost. Now, what happens when I go to one of these folders? So it says, if you want to do this, go to that. So I'm going to go to my departments. I'm going to go to print on demand. So it sent it to the router, and here we go. And so this is where it goes to first. It went to the router first. Why? If you want for any task not listed in this router, use the root router. You know what that's saying? If this is the wrong place, go back. If you can route the agent to a folder, you can route the agent back to where it came. So the first thing it says, if you don't find what you need here, go back. This is not meant for you to be here for no reason. If this isn't for you, go back. What you need is not here. Why waste your time reading anything else? But if it's in the right place, if you want to work on POD law, folder rules, cleanups, read the agent.md. If you want to work on Amazon ads, it's an app that I'm making. Read this. And it's just telling it where to go for everything. This is phenomenal stuff. It's never going to be lost. This is why I can say anything I want to my agent in any place. And I come here to agents.md, and the first thing it says, if you need root law, meaning the main section, then go back there. So every time I talk to my agent in print on demand, I could be in my print on demand folder and say, oh, what was that YouTube video I was trying to make? It's like, YouTube video? Wait, what? And it comes in here and it says, I think I need prompt routing and folder ownership. Let me go to that router. When it goes to that router, it says if what you need is not here, go back to the original. And that's what it does. I hope I'm not losing you. It's reading this. It's saying, well, there's nothing here about YouTube, so let me look into the router. It's going to go to the router and it's going to say, well, let me read everything. Well, there's nothing here about YouTube either. And what's it say here? Any task not listed, go back to the iSkill Labs router. So when I'm in print on demand and I ask it a random question, it's going to look at this. It's like, I gotta find the answer. And when it can't find the answer, it says, well, it looks like I got to go somewhere else now and follow a different route. Are you getting this yet? And all you got to do is write it in these files and folders. Like you said, they're just prompts. You've written a million prompts in your life. You know how to write a prompt and put it in a file. And when an agent goes to that file, because you told it to go to that file, and if it doesn't find what it needs, you say that. If you don't find what you need, you go back to this file and maybe it'll be there. And that'll be another router, right? So the router is continuously making sure that the AI never, ever, ever gets lost. So because I can prompt anything I want, I made a system called pickup and handoff. Now, obviously, pickup and handoff is what happens, if you don't know, when a developer wants to give something to another developer, or Claude wants to give something to Codex. You do a handoff where they write everything and say, here's all the information you need. When I go to my agents.md, I'm going to show you that we have a system already, pickup handoff. So the minute I say the word pickup, it's going to come, it's going to read this section. It's going to say, oh, ISCA. By the way, these are just the first letters of the folder. All right. Just more for it to know where it's at. So it's ICA 52. So let's go down. So now it doesn't have to read everything. It's just going to look for that number and skim through everything else and not have to read the details of everything. It's going to say, I'm just looking for 52. And then eventually it's going to get there. And when it gets to 52, it's going to say agent wake up contract law and then regular pickup. All right, so there's different kinds of pickups. So when I say pickup, it's a read-only continuity brief. What we are doing, what changed recently, open decisions waiting a call, related linear issues, that's something, another app that I use, and when tracked, what's blocked or needs approval, what's the best next move. Don't explain obvious project purpose. Don't change anything unless the user also says to proceed. For apps with a repo, clone it, and missing, right? So this is a set of instructions that I want it to do when I use a certain code word. When I say pickup, this is what it's going to do. This is what I do when I want to start a new session and I want to make sure I'm not lost. And what happens is when I'm done with a session, I say handoff. And when I say handoff, it doesn't need to ask me anything. It comes in here and it immediately knows what to do. Update the most local memory, read it back from disk, and verify without relying on memory that it covers all of current situation, recently completed and in progress work, open task, open decisions and unresolved trade-offs, related linear issues, which is an app that I do, get state, blah, blah, blah. You get it. What skills, everything. So when I say the word handoff, it already knows exactly what to do. Right? And this is just one of the many things I use this system for. So when I'm in here, I could be in iScale merch. This is the app. Pickup. And what's it telling it to do? It's saying go over there and read what it means to do a pickup. So I didn't have to write pickup again in this agents.md. It already knows it's in this folder, but it's going to go back over there in order to know what pickup means. All right. So it didn't even have to read everything else. It's just like, what are we doing first? Pickup. Oh, and once it reads that, it's going to come back and do as it's instructed. And it's going to put me up to speed because I forget things all the time. So this is going to remind me, what was I working on? What were we doing? What were we in the middle of? Remind me, because I'm not going to remember. And if I forget stuff, then we don't have organization. I'm a very unorganized person, and this saved me from that. I'm a very forgetful person, and this saved me from that. So now it's reading. It's going to another location. It knows where the app actually lives on the computer, and it's reading that information. It's making sure that when it answers me, it's going to have a clear, concise answer. You're going to see. And once again, it's slower because it's getting the information it needs. I'm willing to wait because I know I don't have to say anything else. I say one word and it gets me what I want. What it's not doing is saying, I don't know. It's never going to say, I don't know. It's never going to say, I don't remember. It's always going to remember. So boom, pickup complete. I made no file changes. Current state, iScale owner is made here. It's letting me know where it is. It's giving me information about files and stuff. This is an app that I was working on. It's telling me there's dirty just means stuff that didn't get saved before, right? Best next move, preserve the branch, blah, blah, blah. I don't remember any of this, but it just let me know this is what you need to know right now. This is what you need to address. It checked everything, and this is what it said. Here's the information, just like that, right? And I say, you know what? I think I'd rather work on pin twist right now. And just like that, it's like, wait a minute, What's pin twist? Remember, it's an agent. The agent has no clue what pin twist is. It's another app that I got. So now it's thinking. What do you think is going to happen? Is it going to say, I don't know what that is? Because it doesn't know, but it's about to know. It's about to find out. That sounds right, as the next energy is pin twist. Rather than finishing the smoke testing, I'll do a light and it already knows what it is. You see this? I didn't give it information. The prompts in the MD files gave it the information. You can do this. You can do this right now. You can make a system like that when you say something to your agent, it's going to say, uh-oh, I don't know what that is, but here I have a map that's going to take me to wherever the info is that will tell me. And now it's going to tell me stuff about pin twist. And then I'm going to write something, and then I'm going to tell it to do a handoff. So I'm going to say, look, when it comes to pin twist, I have an idea, a simulation of it that people can walk through the website like a VR experience. Okay, I'm just making this up, right? Okay, now this is stupid. What I just said was stupid, right? But I want to show you what's going to happen when I do this somewhere else and show you why the app you're using does not matter. We will work on this when I get time. Do a handoff. So I just gave it the idea. He said, let's call this pin twist world. And I said, let's get back to it. Do a handoff. So now it's going to say, okay, it's going to do a handoff. It says, I'll write this as a pin twist handoff, not an iScale merch one. Remember we were in iScale merch? Because it's the same agent. It's just traveling from place to place, becoming another agent. Same concept, much smoother workflow. Because now the agent has no boundaries. It has no walls. It jumps from place to place. And as long as it reads that prompt, it knows how to behave the same way a dedicated agent would. We're going to go into Claude Code now. Hey, Claude. So now I'm in the pin twist folder and I'm going to do pickup. Let's see what happens. I just went in the pin twist folder. I type pickup and what is going to happen next. Pin twist world. VR, so open decisions and blockers. VR walkthrough is parked pending Jose's go ahead. There you go. So if I'm reading this, it's telling me right here, ready task. It told me a lot of stuff, but there was the last idea that I told it. Right there. So in case I forgot it and this was another day, I can now go into Claude. It doesn't matter where I go, which brings me to a whole other thing. This pickup handoff is going to show us something that we may not have realized. So let's say you do this pickup handoff thing. One thing people get overwhelmed about is all these apps, VS Code, Cursor, all these LLMs, Hermes Agent. Now I'm going to show you why this system solves the problem of not needing to use one LLM or one app. You just saw what happened. So this is what I'm going to do now. There's something called VS Code. VS Code is what Jake was using in his video. You've never used VS Code. What about Hermes Agent? What about all these other apps that are coming out every day? Here's a little trick. You don't need to know what the app is or how to use it. Just ask yourself two questions. How do I get to the chat window? And can I reach my agent there? That's all the questions are going to say. And if you come here, it says, oh, look at this. Open chat, Control-Alt-AI. Let's see what happens if I hit Control-Alt-I. There we go. That's a chat. Wait a minute. I see Claude Code here because I had it before. If it was your first time, you would have to, log in or everything. But I'm already logged in. But just so you know, all you got to do is find the chat window. And let's say here, I could open a folder. But another thing I can do is I can go to Pinterest and then I get that AGENTS.md. I'm going to right click. I'm going to copy his path. This is my AGENT.md file in Pinterest. Now watch this. Once I hit paste, I am now talking to my agent. Maybe you never used VS Code before. You don't need to know how to use it. You just need to know how to get to that chat window. Check Pinterest free version and Pinterest world. There it is, y'all. Pinterest world. It doesn't matter where I go. The agent is the same. It doesn't matter if it's Claude, Codex, or these local LLMs. You know how many local open source stuff is going to come out? As more things come out, more agents that you can use, you no longer have to feel like you need to use Claude or you need to use Codex. You can now experiment with other agents because all you're going to do is have them read the same file, no matter what you're using, no matter what company made the agent you're talking to. None of it matters anymore. Yeah, it matters if you want smarter ones, better ones, but with this file folder system, you are in control. I have full control over my agent that now just told me about Pinterest. I didn't mention anything. I just had it read the file and it knows what to say. What about other stuff? Cursor, right? Cursor came out. There's a thing called Composer 2.5. Before Claude really blew up, Composer was really up there with Claude. People were using Cursor with Composer. It's a respectable agent, right? And it just came out and said it's like 10 times cheaper than ChatGPT. And they got a free tier. So you want to use a free tier, you could open up Cursor. Now, maybe you never use Cursor. It doesn't matter. What are you going to do? How do I get to an agent? Control-Shift-L. This is my agent. It's Composer. What am I going to do? Put that same AGENTS.md file and hit enter. I've never used Cursor before. I've never used Composer 2.5 before, but I know how to open the app and I know how to look for a chat and I know how to paste my AGENTS.md file. And what do you think is going to happen now? Doesn't matter. What you're using, the same thing. Now, this agent may be slower, maybe faster, or maybe dumber, maybe smarter, but whatever work I do with this, that work will be saved to my files. It's not going to go back to Codex's memory. It's not going to go back to Claude's memory. It's going to stay with me where it belongs. Now, yeah, they're getting a copy of it, but my organization is ran by me. Do not let AI run things for you. AI is not good at organizing. It's not good at this stuff, but you are. So you need to be in charge. CWS upload, Pinterest world concept. Pinterest world. There it is. I don't know if you can see it right here. Pinterest world concept. You see that? So another thing that this can do for you is things like OpenClaw, Hermes Agent, right? All these companies are now coming out with desktop apps. And before you may have felt overwhelming. Oh, Hermes, it sounds too complicated. But nowadays, it's not. If you follow the file and folder system, I can now install Hermes. I say, well, I never used Hermes before. How do you use this app? I don't know. Let's open it and find out. You install it, you open it up. Now I have Hermes Agent. What are we going to do? We're going to go right back to that AGENTS.md and hit enter. Now let's see if Hermes, which is using ChatGPT, by the way, Hermes, one cool thing about Hermes is you can load up a lot of different LLMs and it can use different ones for different occasions. That's what makes Hermes very special. Once you get into this stuff, I won't be shocked if a lot of you actually use Hermes instead of Codex. Not for everything, but when you want to do certain things like work around your organization and different things, and you want to test out different LLMs, you want to test out different models, open source models, cheaper models, this is a very good way to do it. Hermes can be attached to a whole bunch of models at once. And look what it did right away. And by the way, another cool thing about Hermes, if you use Grok at all, Hermes is the only agent that can actually connect to your Grok subscription, not an API. So if you want to know one cool secret about how to do image generation almost unlimited, and you could do a lot at one time, you can get a Grok subscription and use it with Hermes. Hermes, I believe, is the only place you can use it in this way. Grok has its own CLI, has its own thing, but I haven't used it. Some people say it's sort of okay, but Hermes can use Grok's image generation. So you could put your subscription, not an API, a subscription, and never have to pay per image. You can use Grok and make a whole bunch of images right here with Hermes Agent. All right, check the free version, upload the Chrome store, Pinterest World, VR-like walkthrough. See this? Pinterest World. And all I did was write it earlier, said handoff, and now anywhere I go, it doesn't matter where you are. You could be on your phone using Codex remotely, and your stuff was always up to date. Guys, I hope you guys are catching what's happening here. It's an agent that is never lost, an agent that knows everything there is to know. It knows where to grab the tools to do what it needs to do, and you can switch around and jump from app to app, from LLM to LLM. If you ever use Claude or Codex, you're like, is it getting dumber? This system will tell you that. But like, wait a minute, it never had a problem reading this before, and now suddenly it can't follow directions. Time to switch your agent. So this exposes when the companies make the agents dumber, which they clearly do. And that way, you know, well, I can switch over, right? And this way, you can't afford a $200 plan on anything, but you might be able to afford three $20 plans. And now you can jump back and forth this way, right? And now you can use anything. How many times have people seen this? You've seen this many times, and you probably were intimidated. You probably said, well, I don't know how to use this. Right? I'm going to just go CD ... just goes up once. So now I'm in my C drive. So when you use something called a CLI, it's something that works here. I installed Codex CLI. You might have heard of anti-gravity CLI. You may have heard of Claude CLI. It just means it works in a terminal, right? So if I type the word Claude and I hit enter, Claude is going to start. All right. So if I got Claude here, I can actually say something like, okay, let's work on some print on demand stuff. Now I got a whole print on demand folder. Before, it would have easily found that folder. Now I'm in my C drive. There's no agents file. Print on demand, let's get into it. Before I start poking around, what are we doing this session? See, that's asking questions. It has no clue what's going on. For context, I know we got auto merge pipeline. Nope, that's not what I want. I said I want to work on print on demand, the stores. So I'm telling it, I want to work on the stores. Got it, the stores. Let me find what we've got so I'm working from the actual setup, not guessing. And now it's going to go and burn more tokens. It has no clue what I'm talking about, y'all. It has zero clue. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to hit escape to interrupt. I'm just going to copy his path, AGENTS.md, and boom, right? And there it goes, which direction, and then it tells me everything I need to know about the stores. And now, you know, Pinterest is a separate thing. It's a Chrome extension. The actual store is a library with mockups and alpha designs. There's some stuff that I'm working on where you can prompt the store in one prompt. Okay, so now it's time for a pro tip. All right, you want to know, how can you start making a system like this, right? Well, first of all, you want to go learn as much you can from this man right here. But here's a cool little tricks that can help you if you wanted to start doing this, right? Because you don't need to take someone else's system, right? You get the transcript from the Jake video, and then you're going to talk to your AI. Maybe once this video's out, get a transcript from this video. And then what you're going to do is you're going to help your AI know what it is that you want. Just take basically everything that he says in this video by just giving it the transcript, right? I think I could use Whisperflow for this. Hey, so I saw this video of Jake Van Clief, and I think that his system that he uses is phenomenal. And I want to build something like that, basically where every, folder is a project where the AI can be navigated through it using a router and map system. I want a system that uses these MD files in all the different folders that it gets routed to, and so that it always knows where it's at or where it needs to go, what it needs to do, how it needs to do it, and what tools it needs and where those are. An AI that never gets lost using a routing system. Is this something you can help me build? Can we plan this out? I want to use this for my organization. Let's get into it, right? So you can plan, right? You don't have to start building it yet, but you could plan out the system and start saying, well, I want a system that does this. This is buildable without making it overcomplicated. I'll treat the uploaded script as the reference pattern. Then yeah, this is exactly the kind of system you should build for your organization. You see this? What Jake is describing is not really in an app at first. It's a file system, blah, blah. So the AI understands this. So if you want to build a system like this for yourself, just talk to your AI. You don't ever have to do any of the work yourself, but you just want your AI to understand it all. And then you, as long as that AI writes this to its own agents.md, you will start off with an AI that then builds the rest of the system. So I'm not going to get into everything it does, but look, it's figuring it out. And this is what I did. You see this workspace system folder? This is the agents.md, although it doesn't matter where I start. This is the one that knows everything. So the first thing I did for my organization is I built an agent whose sole purpose is to make the organization work this way. So before it even knew what I cared about, the first thing I said was, we got to build this organizational system of files and folders, and then we're going to use that to operate. And that way, every time I did a new folder, so I don't make files and folders. What I do is I work right in here. So I do full audits and everything. So right here in this chat with this workspace system, this is where I might say, hey, I want to make a new project to learn how to do electrician work. This is my workspace agent, right? It already knows the system better than I know it because it helped me build it. And I built it using this AI. We spoke together. I said, I want it route this way. Can we test the routing? Can we make sure it works? This doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't happen, easy. The best idea I can give you is start small. Don't try to build everything at once. You start small. Make it work for 2 folders. And once you get even though it's not going to get lost, it's only 2 folders, you still start there and then build up from it. And once your agent knows the rules, it'll start following those rules with everything it does and start testing it and all of that, making sure that the agent will never be lost no matter what happens. It's ready to go. Now, anything extra it needs to know, I can go in that folder and then start talking to that agent about what I want to do there. right? But it onboarded it. It says, okay, we got to make sure. And now if I, read that AGENTS.md, what's it going to say? Root law. It's going to let it know. It has a map. It's saying this is electrician training law. Now I can add more to this, but it gave it the basics that it needs to know. Do not present AI generated notes as permission. It just kind of made this up. Electrician, treat local electric code, permits, license, Look what it's doing. I didn't tell it to do any of this. It's making sure the AI has a certain kind of behavior, right? That's what I'm saying. I can go on and on, guys. There's so much I wanted to talk about in this video that it's just too much. Like, I'm not even halfway with what I wanted to show you. I'm not even halfway. And I'm realizing it's going to be too long. Crazy stuff, man. I can't tell you just how important all of this is to me. And the reason I'm making this video for you is because what he teaches is something that you cannot glance over. If you want to take power back in your life, if you want to make it so these companies cannot control you, they can't own you by saying, you don't know what we're doing or how we're doing it. Yeah, we do. Start paying attention to all the news articles you see, what Codex is doing, what Anthropic is doing, because you know what they're doing? They're trying to build this system. This file and folder system is exactly what they're trying to build. They're spending millions and millions of dollars to build this. Oh, we need something that never forgets and just always has memory. Solved already, y'all. Solved. But it wasn't solved by them. So don't need to be overwhelmed. You do this, you're ahead of the curve. And when that voice comes out, ooh, Jake says in a video, everyone's going to be talking in 6 months. And he was right. So OpenAI is making a voice agent that's just like Alexa. You've seen Amazon Alexa. You could be sitting in your kitchen and just start talking to your agent. Think about this. When those voice agents come out, do you want an AI that they're spending millions of dollars trying to fix the memory that hopefully remembers something about you, or your AI to live in this file and folder system? And you can sit in your kitchen and you could tell it anything you want. You can ask it anything you want, and it never gets lost. If you build this system now, you're going to be thanking yourself when the voice agents really come out and we're no longer typing to anything. You go and you work on your business this way, but when you're out and about, you can now just use your voice. Your agent will never be lost. This is the future, ladies and gentlemen. This is where we're going, how Jake talks about. This is going to still be valid in 10 years. So this is the thing to learn. And it's not even AI. It's just a system that AI can follow perfectly. All these companies are trying to trick you. They don't want you to know this. This is why you got to support Jake Van Clief. He has his Clief Notes. It's completely free if you want to go in there and find out what people are talking about. And another thing, they pay people to know the system. Companies pay thousands and thousands of dollars to get systems like this implemented. So there's so many reasons to learn this stuff. But y'all, this guy has taught us something so valuable. Please support him in anything he does, because this is the kind of person I'm going to be following him. He's going to be the voice of reason. He's going to be my validation for anything that happens in the future. I'm going straight to Jake Van Clief to see what he says about it. Straight like that. Like what I'm showing you is about 10% of what Jake does. They do very intricate things with this. What he can do with this is a level that I can't wait to learn. And I hope you see this is why I made this video, because this is what you should be doing. And while all these companies are all trying to show these shiny objects, you won't have that problem no more. They're trying to sell you the perfect agent all the time. Oh, the agent now has memory. The agent now does this. Agent now does that. But what if the best agent you ever use is the one you build yourself? Maybe. That's all I'm saying, y'all. If you got any value out of this, please like and subscribe. And I'll see you on the next one.